there, guys and gals. We discovered something on the old Bandit. And this was a question a friend of mine asked me a while back. She says, I think I have a brake sticking. How do I find out which one it is? It's actually not too bad. Usually, whatever side your car is pulling to, that would be the one. There's a couple driveway checks you can do as well. This is not the one that is stuck. As you can see, she spins very freely. You can do that to all four. Just take the weight off the car. You don't need a lift. You can raise them one by one. Not a big deal. Also, look at your wheels. Like this one here, this one was the one actually sticking. I've already kind of, you know, went a little bit ahead, but this one, it actually takes some force and it does not make a whole rotation at all. But the next thing you do, now I've already wiped this wheel off, wiped it off last night. But anyway, check and see if you don't have excessive brake dust on your driver's side versus your passenger side. That's a pretty dead giveaway that this brake is wearing faster than the other one. They should wear even. It's a hydraulic system. It's supposed to distribute pressure accordingly and evenly, right? Lastly, this I'm replacing the brake caliper on. Why? Honestly, I've replaced every other caliper except for this one. The rears I replaced, and that passenger one I replaced because I believe it was stuck whenever I first got the car. So we went to our friends at O'Reilly's and got a new caliper. And we're just going to slam him on there. But another thing that can cause it is this brake hose. Sometimes you can't even see it, I bet. So your rubber brake hose can cause it. Darn it. Anyway, it's rubber. It's right here. It runs to your caliper. That can cause it. What happens is that thing will collapse internally, and yeah, you're going to have a fight. But inside here, whenever a caliper fails, it's actually the seal that goes around this piston back in here. It's called the square cut seal. What that does is distort whenever you press your pedal, and then it returns back to normal when you let off. That's how it returns. Also, these slides right here are absolutely known to stick. That will cause brake pads to, those are a pretty big fault too. And it's like across the board, those are a big fault. So tonight, without further ado, we're just going to replace this, bleed it, and call it good. But yeah, we discovered it. We was pretty sure we had one because this always had excessive dust on it. Let's just dive right in, shall we? And put you guys on my cap here. And of course, my steering column's locked. And okay, whenever you're doing this, like turn your key so you can turn this sucker like this. It makes it a lot easier, just for future reference. Don't really hang your brake calipers by the hose. It's not good for them. You can actually take a good hose and make it a bad hose by doing that. Just a little FYI. Now I should, which I'm going to, just for educational purposes, dang it. I'm going to show you a real easy way to push back that caliper if it indeed will push back. It may not. I think this one may push back a little just because it wasn't completely froze. Where's my lucky screwdriver, man? I'll have to use this guy. All right. As you can see, I have a path that I have to follow. This is ridiculous. One of these days. One of these days. All right, so come here, light. Inside here, what you're going to want to do is get This is, get right here and press against the rotor if you can. That way so you don't damage your brake pad, because we are going to reuse these pads. So generally, whenever I do this, I'm not reusing the pads. But what you need to do is just kind of create some distance. And you know what? We're not even going to worry about that. But I just wanted to show you guys, you can take this, throw it in here. Yeah. Freed up a little. But yeah, that something's stuck in it. I don't know which part. And it doesn't matter because I'm going to replace it all. You know, this one here, I'm not sure if somebody has professionally replaced it or not. You can buy these things loaded with the caliper, bracket, and all. But since I only needed one, and these pads are ceramic, pretty expensive pads if I remember correctly, I opted to not do that. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can see or not. Hopefully you can. But I'm just taking these two bolts out of the caliper. I'm thinking that maybe these bolts are not factory, for the main reason they actually have a head on them. And if memory serves, the other ones factory do not. They actually have Allen heads on them. But I mean, maybe this was a reman at one time. I don't know, but we're going to keep the bolts either way we go. We're keeping those bolts because I like keeping bolts. It just helps. These are a finer thread, so oh man, I forgot to grab a, yeah, that thing's on there pretty darn good. So you'll need your flathead anyway, and like I say, just tell them to give them back your caliper. Come here. Probably out there, probably out here on the bottom. Set him up here. Do not let that thing just dangle. That's horrible. Horrible for that rubber hose, and the hose is probably as much as the caliper, truth being known. And these things have a oh yeah, looky there. So over time, I'm going to bet that is the wrong caliper. Dang it, are you kidding me, bro? So this episode's done. Dang it. This is why they should, wait a minute, is that a rear caliper? Is this the right caliper? That looks like a rear caliper, don't it? Let's see something. Let's look at this driver side one. If it's a dual piston, there is something different about that caliper. That is a mystery. Hold on a sec. You're gonna come with me on this adventure, because yeah, I got a good little flashlight somewhere. I want you guys to see it as I see it. Oh my goodness. All right, there it is, there it is, there it is. We're good. Something's funky about this, and I don't know what. Nope, we have a dual piston, and that is not a dual piston that I got. So, O'Reilly's, you failed me this time, bud. Come on now. So, we're going back to O'Reilly's tomorrow with our caliper that's a dual and getting the right one. Awesome. All right, so we'll be back to show you the rest of this tomorrow evening. Okay. All right, kids, so if you watched all that, I apologize for one. We had a catastrophic failure. What does that mean? Well, one of these little washers stuck to the back of that hose and caused a brake hemorrhage, if you will. So we had to drop her down, put some more fluid in it. We put the caliper on, no big deal. And then these spacers started turning. What do you do then? Well, luckily, these are notched on two edges here, which happens to be a 16 millimeter in this case. So you hold that and then tighten the nuts, or bolts rather. Okay? Luckily for me, and for the sake of bleeding brakes, disc brakes actually bleed really well, I've noticed, by just simply gravity bleeding them. Now, this is a new caliper, so you're going to have to get in and punch that pedal down to the floor. You have to. That's mandatory. But it shouldn't really take you that many times. You're not really bleeding the whole system. And lucky for us, we're bleeding the closest one to the master cylinder. So it should go very quickly. It felt like it pumped up pretty darn good. So we're going to crack this bleeder a few times and we're gonna look for air. We got air. So the moment that we stop having air is the moment that we know we can, one, tighten it back down, bleed it again, okay? Let it go a few seconds. There's no sense in letting it bleed craziness. So tighten her back down, hit it again. The good thing is my shop is completely clean of debris and everything, so I don't have to have a certain path I go to through. Numbers, magic. And if you really want to know if you got all the air out of the system, what you can do is start the car up and push the brake. It's going to let you know instantly if you have any air, because your brake light will come on. So I didn't see hardly any air at all. So possibly one more time of that and we'll be golden, Pony Boy. But see how that good steady stream is? That's what you're going to want out of these guys. Tighten it back down. Do not hit the brake pedal, one, with your cap off, because you'll shoot fluid everywhere. Two, with that open, because you're going to suck air into the system whenever you let off the pedal. If you have a friend, which I don't, they can pump on the brakes and you don't have to keep on jumping in and out of your car and doing it yourself. I have done a lot of brakes by myself. It's a long story, but I'll sum it up. So a lot of times what I'll do, if I need somebody to push on that pedal, it's me. And I'll take me a long pry bar and I'll put it against this seat and wedge it in between it and the brake pedal, and it usually works very well. So kind of is what it is on all that. But we finally have no air coming out, so I'll let that bleed just for a second. We're gonna call it good. Now I know what someone's going to ask. They're going to say, how do you know it wasn't your brake hose? I'm going to show you, okay? So that right there we're calling gooder. If you have the dust cap, put it back on. This one does not, and it wasn't on the old caliper, so unfortunately I don't think I have any sitting around, but this is a fair weather car anyway. Okay, so if this were a bad brake hose, now you got to do it fairly like you did on all the other. You have to do it with the wheel on, because without the wheel on, it takes a lot more effort to spin this. Where's my lug nuts? Dang it. Foiled again. Well, anyway. Whoops. Oh, there they are. Dummy. And this makes the last caliper that I also need to replace in order for all 4 calipers to have been replaced. So All right, so compare that one. This one's still more free, but nonetheless, this one before was like that. So it still could have possibly a brake hose issue. I'm going to say that it doesn't yet. This caliper, where it's also brand new-ish, actually that was brand new. Pretty sure I replaced this one too. Yep. But this one's got about 4 years on it. So it may be the fact where this caliper's newer. You know what I mean? I can see that. Because it does spin a lot better than it did. Well, we're not going to end up keeping these. We're going to let these go with the original caliper. Because there is a core charge of 40 bucks. I don't want the old one that bad. So they can have it. Let it drain in there in your somewhere. Your car will thank you. And your parts person that sold you the wrong parts twice, Brandon, will also thank you. So let's go, Brandon. Shape it up, buddy. Okay? Anyway, that concludes this and me griping about getting the wrong parts. Guys, make sure you might want to just look up your parts and take it in with you. Or make sure the right part you have ordered is in your box that you have. Anyway, so we're going to do a master cylinder next on it, along with something on this. We have plenty of YouTube gold there. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for being my therapists and watching, listening, and hopefully learning something. Until next time, we'll see you guys here. And if you don't mind, just real quick, somewhere down there, the old like, subscribe button, I'd appreciate the heck out of it. We'll see you guys next time here on Right Turn Garage TV. Y'all have a great weekend.